Hello. Today I'm looking at a different engine than I typically film. This is a 2006 Toyota Tundra. It does have the V6 in this. Today I'm going to look at changing the spark plugs. Just acquired this vehicle not so long ago, and I pulled one of the plugs. It looked pretty worn out. They're going to be right. There's a coil pack there, and a coil pack there, and a coil pack there. So we'll have to figure out what we're going to need to take off to get to this this driver's side set for those three. And over here, looks like if we get the air cleaner off on the passenger side, you have a 10 millimeter bolt on that hose clamp, and if you look underneath there's the coil packs there. I can get to those pretty easy. They have a 10 millimeter bolt holding those in. 16 millimeter socket will get the spark plugs out. So first thing we'll do, we'll tackle the passenger side first. Like I said, get that hose clamp off, pop off the air cleaner with those two clasps, and that should make room enough. That's where I checked the one spark plug out, that it was pretty worn. It had the original, it looks like original plugs. There's 188,000 miles on this, and they're Japanese Denso plugs, which makes me think they're original because the new plugs are Denso, but they're made in China. The coil packs look pretty good, so I'm not going to worry about changing those today. But get this air cleaner off, like I said, get those two clasps, get this pipe clamp, and we'll see what we have from there. Alright, so here we are. I got the air cleaner off. You can see that I can get direct access to the passenger side coil packs. Simply just have to pinch in on the coil pack connector. Comes right off. You put it back on, snaps on. I should be able to get to these three with no problem, it looks like. Like I said, 10 millimeter bolt holding those in. Only needs to be tightened according to the manual, just snug. And I believe the spark plugs are 12 to 14 foot-pounds, which the instructions that came on the box of Denso Plugs actually said if it has the metal gasket, just to tighten it another quarter turn to a half turn once it's seated in there. So it doesn't take a lot. You don't want to over tighten these. You can see the air filter there. It's really clean. I just changed it. First thing I did. So you can see here, have the cylinder plug out of the cylinder there. Pretty easy to get out. I did use this magnetic grabber here to get the plug out, since I didn't have a proper spark plug socket with like a rubber grommet. But I just wanted to show the two plugs together. You can see the electrode is worn down pretty good on that. It is nowhere near, I think it's 0.43 inch. It needs to be the gap. It's pretty good gap there. The other ones are almost dead on. They must be pre-gapped, but you can see the difference. Pretty worn out at this point, but otherwise good color. Not terrible. Not a lot of oil on them or anything, but definitely need change. Like I said, the old one made in Japan, the new one, from what I can tell in the box, made in China. So hopefully I'll see a little bit of a difference, maybe some improved gas mileage. But there's a close-up how different they are. And let's see if I can get the here. Try to get the using this tool here. It goes down .044, and yeah, like I said, it gets in there just about. Needs to be, according to the specs, it needs to be about .043. This one just. Anyway, I'm going to start putting these in and go to the other side. And here's that metal ring, which is, I guess, what they call a gasket, not a tapered fit. And like I said, I think it said get it all the way down there, hand tight, and just barely snug it up. Another 1/4 inch turn to a 1/2 inch, but I'll probably just err on the side of less. And that's how I'm going to put them in. So this side, passenger side, is done. Got them back in there. What I did is I lowered the plugs in with my finger as far as I could go so they wouldn't drop very far and mess up the gap at all. And I tightened these up, these coil bolts, just snug. And I found out to take these connectors on and off, it's best to have the bolts in. That way they'll stay put and not move around, because they're on there pretty good. And always give them a good tug when you're done, just to make sure they're snapped in there. I did hear them all snap, so I'm confident that they are connected correctly. Of course, you want to put them back in exactly the same place. That's important. I did keep all the coil packs the same with each where they came out of, but I'll show the plugs at the end. The old plugs, they're very worn down. They very well could be original. That's hard to believe. These Densos are the copper core. I went with just what comes in here. I'll link the model number I used. They only recommend, most forums and such only recommend using the original Densos or NKG compatible. The Densos are cheaper, so that's what I went with. And I'll get this air filter cover back on and start on the other side. So to get to the passenger side plugs, I'm going to take off this cover just to maybe give me a little easier access. It's 10mm nuts that go on top of there, and then there in the back, it just hinges there on these little grommets back there. You're able to lift this up. Got the nuts off now. That's what it looks like once you lift that up. This comes right off. It's really dirty in here. I'll have to clean this off. There's the hinges that it goes back on. You can see now, here's the studs that the two 10mm nuts attached to. And I think we can get to these okay. These coil packs, we'll see. We might have to move a EGR, or I'm sorry, a PCV hose out of the way. I think that's what that is, to get that coil pack out. But I'm going to try to remove as little as possible. That middle one might give me some trouble right there. We'll see if I can get that out without taking anything else off. That's what we're gonna go for next. So I just wanted to show this driver side. I had to move this bracket out of the way. It's just a, I believe it's a 12mm bolt at the top, and at the bottom I loosened it. I had to unplug the alternator plug, loosen that bolt, and remove the bolt up top so I could swing this out of the way and get access to the plug so I could pinch it. That was one of the harder parts. And you can see it's back in there. Have it all back in there. And did the middle plug as well. Middle spark plug as well. I'm working on the last one closest to the firewall. Had to remove the bracket here as well. You can see, so here it is right here. Remove that bracket. out of the way, and also I swiveled out the it's the PCV rather tube. Move that out of the way to get to the plug down there. Plugs are kind of hard to get out, but the new ones are going in easy. Just be careful you don't cross thread them. You don't want anything to break while you're in there. And I'll get this all put back together. Here's a shot of the 6 old plugs. You can see the electrode is just absolutely, they're just worn down almost completely to the insulator. Here's the new one for comparison. Not a terrible color on the plugs, but makes me question when they were changed last. But they are definitely worn down, and there's just a super huge gap between right there where the electrodes are worn down compared to how they ought to be. Hopefully we'll see an improvement then.